What is up? What is good? What's going on? How you doing? How you been? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing all right. Now, I just wanted to kind of give kind of like a what's going on with me, an update as to what's going on with me right now. And whenever I started to do this video, I was like, you know what? I'm curious as to what fuel prices are because I've been home for 3 weeks and I haven't been monitoring fuel prices. So I just went into my emails and I have a variable rate fuel card. My primary fuel card is variable rate. So I get an email every day with a list of fuel prices at all the places I get discounts. And I use the TA here in Oklahoma City to gauge what the fuel market is doing. And yeah, fuel prices have continued to go up over the last 3 weeks since I've been home. They've gone up like 26 cents a gallon in the last 3 weeks that I've been home. But my discount has shot up by a significant amount. And I'm actually paying less for fuel now than I was 3 weeks ago because my discount is so phenomenal. That's just crazy. Um, so yeah, fuel. I've said it in previous videos. Fuel is an enormous thing in the trucking industry, and they created fuel surcharge in the early 2000s when fuel started getting really high, because fuel has such a huge impact on the freight industry. They created fuel surcharge to soften the blow of just massive increases in fuel prices. So it's supposed to be passed on to the whoever is paying for the load, the shipper, receiver, the consignee. Fuel surcharge is supposed to pass on basically anything over $1.50 a gallon is supposed to be paid for by the consignee, if I remember correctly. I think $1.50 a gallon is the cutoff. So if fuel prices ever get below $1.50 a gallon, then fuel surcharge should basically go away. But fuel surcharge doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. These shippers and receivers have found ways to manipulate fuel surcharge and get out of paying it. And with our enormous increase in fuel prices, I haven't seen much of any change in fuel surcharge. So those increased fuel prices are not really getting passed on to the shippers and receivers. They're just manipulating the money and moving shit around to where they still end up paying us the same at the end of the day. So yeah, fuel prices have a huge impact on our business here in trucking. So keep an eye on that. I don't know what's in store for us in the near term, but I just wanted to double check fuel prices, and fuel prices are, man, I hope they don't keep going up like this. The thing is that we haven't hit summer yet. Summer is when fuel prices skyrocket because of demand. And, we have all these virus lockdowns and everything. There's still a lot of reduced travel. So places are starting to completely get rid of all of the lockdown stuff. And on top of that, we also have summer just about to hit. So the demand for fuel is about to go ballistic. And we're seeing prices like this when demand is nothing. There's like no demand for fuel at all in comparing it to like normal times. I mean, there's still a lot of people driving on the roads and stuff like that. So the demand is definitely there, but in comparison to how things normally work, demand is much lower than normal. So if they get rid of all of the restrictions and sporting events start opening up and parks start opening up and restaurants fully open and they get rid of all of these restrictions and then summer hits on top of that, increased travel with summer, oh my god, we could see some insane fuel prices this summer, like absolutely insane. I highly like fuel should be, if you are an owner operator, fuel should be number one on your list of items right now. And you don't want to be, playing catch up with that. go out and get a good fuel card. Find whatever it is you need to do on your fuel solution. If you need to, if your APU's broke down and you need to go get that thing fixed so that you can reduce your fuel costs, whatever it is that you need to do to reduce your fuel costs, you need to be working on that right now, because from where I'm sitting, I don't see anywhere but up that fuel is going. That's it. I think that we could be seeing $5 a gallon diesel this summer at the rates that the fuel is going up right now. And that scares the hell out of me. I hope that doesn't happen, but I can see that happening. But anyway, that's not really what I wanted to talk about in this video. I just wanted to, kind of catch up with what's going on with me. So I just kind of slapped in the fuel things here onto another thing that's unrelated. But this gives you an idea of what my fuel card is like. This right here is the cash price. So it's 6 cents a gallon more expensive if you pay with a credit card or a non-fuel card. So my total discount, if you count in the 6 cent per gallon cash discount that I get, is like 45 cents a gallon, 48 cents a gallon, 40 cents a gallon, 77 cents a gallon. Right now I'm getting a total of like a 77 cent per gallon discount at the TA here in town. But let's get rid of this and get back. Right here's what this was supposed to be. So let's go over what's going on with me. Okay, let's go to my list of crap that I need to do. I still have not bought a cheap car. I'm still looking for one. And since every asshole in the country just got a $1,400 check this last week, it's really hard to find a $1,000 car right now. Every time I see a car listed on Craigslist or Facebook Market or anywhere that's around $1,000 or $2,000, it's gone within a few hours, a day most. And we're talking about some pieces of shit that I'm not willing to spend money on. Like, they're not worth $1,500. They barely run. I mean, there's some people don't realize like how expensive repairing some of these cars can be. And when somebody posts a car and they say it has a blown head gasket and they say it runs, but it runs really rough and it overheats, it has a blown head gasket, and they've got it listed for $1,500 and it's like a 30-year-old piece of shit car. Like, there are dumbasses going out and buying those things. Like, it has a blown head gasket. The cost to repair that's worth more than that car's worth. And those type of cars are just flying off of. They're selling like hotcakes right now because everybody's got their $1,400 checks, man. Anyway, so yeah, I haven't bought a cheap car. I'm still looking. Buy a tablet and a mount. Okay, I did that. I showed you guys the tablet last time. I got a Samsung Tab 7, and it's got like a 24-inch screen. I didn't realize how big this damn screen is. 10.1 inches. I'm a guy. When somebody tells me 10 inches, I'm like, it's about that, right? No, apparently not. It's, my God, man, this thing's going to cover up the whole window. That thing is, it's the size of my head. Like, it's huge. So yeah, I bought the tablet and I bought a mount. Go to the optometrist. I went to the optometrist, and me and the optometrist went round and round and round. I have a huge issue with my optometrist because she checks my vision at like 10 feet away. She has me in a chair, and her little things that she flips through, those lenses that she checks your vision with, her machine is really old, and it's like filthy. It's like her lenses are all kinds of blurry. So it's really hard for me to tell, like, whenever she's flipping through the things, if one's better than the other. Because it all looks like shit because of the lens quality And also, it's only at like 10 feet away. And like I can see really clear with these glasses up to like 15 feet away or so. But our DOT vision check is at like 25 feet, 30 feet or something like that. And then me trying to read street signs a quarter, half mile away. Um, like I'm not in there trying to get my prescription updated for 10 fucking feet. So she and I went round and round in circles. She's like, you don't need, an updated prescription. I'm like, I can't read street signs. Can you like put something else up there that I can look at that's not an A that's this fucking big? Like, yeah, I can read that A on the wall 10 feet away. Yeah, we went around and around in circles. Finally, I just told her, we came to an agreement to bump my prescription up in both eyes by a notch. I was using the term notch, bump it up a notch. She's like, what? I was like, bump it up 2 notches. She's like, if I bump it up 2 notches, it was the power. She said, if I bump it up two of them, then you're going to come back in and complain about eye strain. So, this is my prescription. This is my last prescription. This is my new one. So basically, the only thing we changed was the OD and the OS, which is, I think it's the power in each eye, went from negative 1.75 to negative 2 in both eyes. So that's what we agreed to. I've got glasses on order, and we'll see if I can see better at distance with them. So yeah, I went to the optometrist. Pay taxes. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that now. We'll talk about that now. So I just got off the phone with my tax person, asking her questions about stuff. So what was I asking her questions about? I was asking her like, okay, how do I expense out my house and my car? I was like, I use my car almost exclusively for business purposes. And my house, I use my house almost exclusively for business purposes. How do I expense that stuff out? How do I deduct it on my tax liability? How do I expense it to the business? And she said, as far as the car goes, and I said, I'm about to buy another vehicle just to leave at the drop yard to drive back and forth between my house and the drop yard. And she said the only way that you can expense out vehicles to a business is mileage. And she said she couldn't remember the exact mileage. It's like 50 to 65 cents per mile, maybe 68 cents a mile or something like that. But you basically write down all the miles that you drive for business use, and then you expense it to the business at that rate per mile. And I'm like, well, that's not even worth filing because, like, I don't really drive the car very much. To give you an example, I haven't put fuel in my car, my 370Z that's in the garage right now. I haven't put fuel in that car in a year and a half almost. Basically, the last time I put fuel in that car was in mid-December of 2019. While I was still commuting back and forth to work at my old job. Actually, it might have been in November because I think I worked from home all of December at that job. So it's been since like November. And I only fuel up, back when I was commuting back and forth to work, I would only fuel up like once a month. That car is a 2017 model. I bought it in 2019, I think. Yeah, 2019 is I think when I bought it. It might have been 2018. But that car has like 7,000 miles on it. And so to give you an idea, I haven't put fuel in the car in almost a year and a half, and it still has half a tank. I have to put fuel stabilizer and octane booster and crap like that in it because the octane degrades over time. So expensing out miles is not worth my time. You're talking about like $5 a month or something in expenses. It's not worth even calculating and filing. So I'm not going to be able to expense out my cars. As far as the house goes, basically she said the way it works is you total up all of your expenses for the house, your mortgage, your insurance, your utilities, all of that stuff, and you total it all up. Then you figure out your total square footage of your house, and you figure out the total square footage of your office. And she said your office needs to be an office. It needs to be an office space. So I have 2 bedrooms dedicated to office space. The room that I'm in right now is an office. And then the room right across on the other side of this wall is also office. It has all of my networking equipment and stuff like that in there. So these 2 rooms, it's a 5-bedroom house. So I have 2 rooms that honestly I don't use. And I have 2 rooms that I use for office. I have my master bedroom. So I just figured out how big the room I'm in is, and the room next to it's identical in size. All 4 of these rooms on the top floor are the exact same size. So they're 186 square feet each. So 372 square feet for 2 of them. So the total size of the house is 3,473 square feet. So what you have to do is you have to come up with a percentage of your office space versus the total space of the house. And it comes out to 9.33% is how much my office space is of the house. It's a little over 9% of the house. So you tally up all of your house expenses. So this is half of a year. This is 6 months of expenses. So this is my mortgage payment, which includes insurance, my electric, my gas, my water, sewer, and then my internet. So all of that from June through December comes out to $7,700. And 9.33% of that $7,700 comes out to $719. So I'm able to expense out $719. That is what is going to be a tax deduction. Basically, I'm not going to pay taxes on $719. 2 other things that I was asking about. Okay, one of them is per diem. All right, I have 106 days of per diem. I think the per diem rate is like $58 per day. Per diem is a huge tax write-off. So what I had to do to calculate per diem is you have to go look through your logbooks, and anytime you're away from home and you're actually working, then that's a per diem day. So if you're away from home and you're on vacation, you went to Disneyland, you don't log that as a per diem day. But if you're away from home and you're sitting at the truck stop in Tonopah for a month waiting on a load, that is work. I'm not out there on vacation. I'm out there waiting on a load. So that entire month I was out in Tonopah, I was writing off $58 a day in tax deductions. So anyway, what does all of that come out to? So the tax write-off for my office is negligible, $719 for 6 months, basically. Because I was only an owner-operator for half of last year. I was a company driver for the other half. Well, for the first 2 or 3 months of the year, I was going to CDL school and I was in training and stuff like that. So, but in June, I became an owner-operator. So all of this is for half of a year. So, $720 write-off for the office space usage. Almost actually it is over $6,148 should be my per diem write-off. And I talked to her about CDL school. Now, I asked her if I could write off what I'm paying for CDL school. And she said no. She said not unless you've had a CDL before. And I said, well, as a matter of fact, I have had a CDL before. And she said, when? And I said, about 15 years ago. I said, I got a CDL about 15 years ago. I drove for a few years, quit the industry, got into another profession, um, did that for like a decade. I ended up surrendering my CDL. And then this year I came back and I got my CDL and got back into trucking and became an owner operator. And she said, "Okay, then yeah, you can write it off." And I said, "Well, how do I write it off?" She said, "Well, just the total amount." I said, "Well, it's going to cost me a total of about $6,000 to get is what I'm paying the CDL school, but I paid $2,500 down, and I'm paying like $190 a month." And she said, "Well, just write off the whole $6,000." And I was like, "Well, it's gonna be paid out over like a year and a half, so it's going to go across two, tax calendar years." And she said, "No, that's fine. It's intent." She told me basically she told me just do the whole thing all at once. So that's $5,833.50 is what my total payoff for the student loan is. So she sent me she also does my bookkeeping. So based on all of my income and all of my expenses, my tax liability was $23,000. Then after taking out the per diem, the office, and my CDL school, that right there is $13,000. So now my tax liability is down to like a little over 10 grand, $10,200. I'm still trying to figure out if there's any other things that I can write off. My goal, and every business owner's goal, is to zero out. I'm trying to zero out to reduce the amount of taxes that I have to pay. But as it stands right now, I'm probably going to end up having to pay probably about $3,000, somewhere around 3 grand in taxes is what I would guess I'm going to have to pay in taxes, is about 3 grand. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I don't know what all other kinds of write-offs I can have. But also, I had all that time as a company driver where I was paying into taxes. I'm probably going to have a refund from that. So that would go into, my taxes. What I'm going to end up paying them. But enough about taxes. So what's going on with taxes is I think I finally have all of my tax documents in order and all of my deductions that I need. I think I've got it all figured out. And I think I've got my taxes all figured out. Now I have an appointment for Thursday at 9 a.m. with my tax person. And hopefully I'm just going to go in there on Thursday and hand her the stuff. She punches it all in. And it would be awesome if we could do it electronically. But if not, if I have to, write a check to the IRS, I've done that, I've done that before. I prefer to do it all electronically, but we'll see. I'm not sure how she does it. She's not very big on electronically, so I'm fully expecting that she's going to give me papers that I'm going to have to physically mail to the IRS. So we will see. But yeah, I have an appointment Thursday at 9 a.m. I need to get all my documents together. I plan on doing that after I finish making this video. I've already got pretty much everything printed out, and I will stack them all together so that, when it comes time Thursday morning at 9 a.m., I just grab those documents, drive over there, and we get everything filed. So that's what's going on with taxes. What else we got here? Stock the truck. Yeah, I can't stock the truck until I'm ready to leave, and that's still going to be a couple weeks away. USA Truck terminating my lease with USA Truck and uninstalling the ELD and the stickers and the permits and all the rest of that crap. I'm not going to do that until I'm onboarded with Landstar, which brings us to the last item, Landstar. What's going on with Landstar? Well, Landstar is waiting on me now. Let me go back over to. Let me pause this and switch. There we go. All right, so what are they waiting on me to do? So drug test. I hate this stupid site. Are you kidding? Let me pause this in case it pulls up some personal info. All right. This is almost like the Pulse 10th Street website is almost as bad as one of those like malicious malware sites where if like you click anywhere on the screen and it starts popping shit up and taking you to different places. So drug test, vehicle inspection, clearinghouse, and then a defensive driving course. Okay, so I've done the defensive driving course. That was a massive pain in the ass. It is a really janky website. I ended up having to talk with their help desk to be able to finish the training because it was so janky. The clearinghouse, they sent a request. I approved it. Done. So all that's left now is vehicle inspection and drug test. And I'm waiting to do those basically the same day. So I've been trying to get an appointment with the place where I get my truck worked on, and they have been insanely busy the last couple of weeks. I have an appointment for Wednesday. And basically I'm just going to drive over there, pull my truck up to the bay, and then leave. They don't know how long it's going to take them to work on my truck because they don't know how much time they're going to be able to dedicate to my truck. Basically, they're still going to be really, really busy Wednesday, but they think they might have a bay open that I can park the truck in, and they're just going to basically work on my truck in their free time. And it may take them all day or maybe 2 days. So I'm just going to take my truck over there, and they're going to do some minor work for me. I got some parts on order from the Volvo dealer. I want to replace a couple clearance lights. The clearance lights have 4 LEDs in them, and 2 of the 4 LEDs on 2 of the 4 lights are occasionally intermittently dim. So I want to replace those. Been wanting to replace them for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and replace them now. Also, my windshield washers, the washer nozzles are clogged up and they don't really spray evenly across the window. So I ordered 2 brand new washer nozzles. The LEDs were $30 a piece from the dealer, so $60 for those 2 LEDs, and the washer nozzles were $10 a piece from the dealer. I was going to just take the old washer nozzles off and clean them, but I couldn't figure out how to get the damn things off. I'm pretty sure I know how to get them off now, but it's one of those things where you need to be certain of how to remove them because you have to apply a lot of pressure and pop a clip off. And if you aren't sure what you're doing, you could just basically break the washer nozzle applying that much pressure to it. But I'm pretty sure I know how to remove it now. But since they're so cheap, I'm not going to bother with washing the old ones. I'm just going to have them put new ones on. And then I'm going to have them look and see about the oil leak on the APU. I think it's just a loose oil filter. But I'm going to have them take a look at it while they're doing the other stuff. So it's really, really minor things that I'm having. I'm kind of like really picky about my truck. I want everything to be perfect on it. So anytime there's not, anytime I notice something wrong, I want to put it in the shop and get it fixed. So we're going to get those things fixed, and they're going to do my DOT inspection. So here's one of the things that I keep hearing complaints about with Landstar is that you have to get a vehicle inspection with Landstar every 90 days. And people cannot stand to do them. They're a pain in the ass. And one of the reasons that they're a pain in the ass is because Landstar has a list of approved sites that you can get these vehicle inspections done. And most of these places are the really big nationwide shady ass commission based just low quality mechanics, like somebody that was in high school last week and now they're a fucking TA mechanic and they know how to replace brake pads and they get a big commission on replacing brake pads. So every time they do a vehicle inspection, they want to replace your brake pads. They're going to lie to you and tell you that they're illegal. They're going to tell you all kinds of shit's illegal and try. I can't. I've not had my vehicle, my truck inspected at a TA or Petro or anywhere like that. But I have taken multiple USA truck trailers into TA and Petros for vehicle inspections. They're AVIRs. And every time I do it, they come in and lie to me about stuff and tell me that stuff's illegal. And then when it comes time that they have to prove it to USA Truck's service department and they have to send in pictures and, you know, with a tape measure showing how the thickness on the brake pad and stuff like that, then it's not quite illegal. It should probably be replaced soon. But that's not what we're paying you for, TA. We're not paying you for preventative maintenance. That's not what this is. This is a vehicle inspection, a DOT inspection, an annual vehicle inspection. You're supposed to be looking for things that are illegal. Does it pass or fail the inspection? If I wanted you to do a fucking preventative maintenance, I would have paid your ass for a preventative maintenance. So this is the reason people don't like doing these vehicle inspections, is because of these shady ass techs. These commission-based mechanics at TA and Petro and Loves. I hate going to those places. The only time that I, go to TA, Petro, and TA and Petro and stuff like that is for like really menial shit, and I'm just telling them to do something. I'm not like going in there and giving them carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want. Do a vehicle inspection, something like that. No, it's, hey, put this fucking mud flap on. I can trust them to do something like that. I can't trust them to do much of anything else. I mean, they're the TA and Petro mechanics and Loves mechanics. A lot of them are just absolute dumbasses. So, and I don't really hold mechanics in general in very high regard. But, man, TA, Petro, and Loves mechanics, those are really bad mechanics. Most of them. So, the whole point of that spiel is that Landstar said that I can do my DOT inspections with Big Rig Products. That's where I get all my work done. They said that as long as Big Rig is willing to fill out their DOT inspection form, that I can get my inspection done there. And Big Rig was like, sure, have them email it to us. And I said, sure, email it to them. And they emailed it to them. I asked Landstar to carbon copy me, to CC me on the documents. That way, next time I need to get a DOT inspection done there, if they can't find that email, I can just forward the documents over to them. And Landstar's like, no, I can't send them to you. And I'm like, do you know how ridiculously stupid that is? And I didn't tell Landstar this, but I'm entering into a business partnership with Landstar, and they don't trust me with a DOT inspection form. They're afraid that I'm going to forge it or something. Do they realize that they're sending that over to Big Rig Product? And I can very simply just ask Big Rig Product to forward that email to me, and they will. So Landstar doesn't trust me, but my mechanic does. Like, I'm in a business relationship. I have a business relationship with my mechanic, but I have more than a business relationship with Landstar. We're about to sign a contractual, agreement where we are going to be business partners, and they don't trust me with an inspection form? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. But hey, you know what? At least I'm going to be able to get my inspections done at a mechanic that's not going to try to rip me off. So, like my mechanic, I get I get so much work done there. Like they don't want to do any more work on my truck. They don't like working on my truck or my APU because every time I come in for home time, I put it into the shop and get something worked on. Um, but yeah, that's where we're at with it. Is um, it's Monday at 8 p.m. local time here in Oklahoma City, 8:03 p.m. I did not get a call from the Volvo dealership about the parts coming in today. Um, Even if I get a call tomorrow that the parts arrive tomorrow, I don't plan on picking them up tomorrow. What I plan on doing is Wednesday morning at around 9 a.m., I'll drive down to Volvo, pick up the LEDs, the sun visor marker lights or LEDs, and the washer nozzles. And then I'm going to drive over to Big Rig Product. I'm going to move my truck over to the from their paid parking over to the bay, and then I'm gonna drive back over to my. Actually, no. I will. Yeah, I will probably drive back over to my house. Um, I'm not sure what exact order I'm going to do it in, but I plan on doing my drug test Wednesday as well. So I'm going to drive over there, drop my truck off, and then do the drug test on Wednesday. Hopefully, I'll get the DOT inspection done on Wednesday. And then on Thursday morning, I need to go over to that side of town to do my taxes. And I'll swing by Big Rig Product and go park my truck back in my spot, get my DOT inspection form, and then I should be able to send all that crap over to Landstar on Thursday. And then Landstar, all they have to do at that point is just review the paperwork, make sure everything's in order, and then send me to orientation. And I think that should be about it. Yeah. So I'm hoping that I'll be in orientation this upcoming Monday. I don't know if they'll be able to get me into an orientation class that quickly. And I'm really kind of surprised that they are still doing like face-to-face orientations. It would be really easy, based on what I know that they do in orientation, it seems like it would be really, really easy to do that remotely. And for some reason, they're not doing remote orientations. Like I initially I was planning on driving my truck to orientation, and then I watched some videos of some people that went to Landstar orientation, and they were like, "There's no point in driving your truck to orientation. They don't look at your truck. They don't do anything with your truck. The only reason that you would want to bring your truck there is if you want to pay the guy that's on site to install your ELD, and he charges like $150 to install the ELD, which is an absolute joke if you know how easy it is to install an ELD. It is really, really easy to install an ELD in my truck. And my truck, all you do is there's a cup holder that you pull out, and then there's a screw that with a flathead. You get a flathead screwdriver. You unscrew one screw, remove that. That allows you to pull the cup holder all the way out. Then you can lift up a flap on my dash, and underneath that flap is where the ODB connector plugs in, and the cables run out from underneath that to where my ELD's hooked up. So I just undo one bolt or one screw, lift the flap up, plug in the ODB, put it back down, and then that's it. I just screw in my ELD. I already have screws and everything for my ELD because I've had an ELD installed there before. I guess if you had to put screw holes in your plastics and stuff, and you didn't have a drill to do it with, it would be a pain in the ass to do. But you don't have to like drill holes. You can use suction cups and do mount your ELD on the windshield or something like that. But mine, I already have drill holes through the plastics on mine for my ELD, so I'm just going to use that. So yeah, $150 is absolutely ridiculous to pay somebody to install an ELD in my truck. It's so easy to do. But yeah, that's like the only reason that the guy said that you would want to bring your truck down there. I'm pretty sure that they put you up in a hotel. So they pay for the hotel. Even if you bring your own truck down there, they still pay for a hotel for you, as far as I know. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to staying the night in a hotel. I would much rather stay at my house and, do it remotely. But hey, you know what? We got to do what we got to do. I'll drive down there. It'll be good for my car to get that 1.5-year-old fuel out of there and get a full tank of brand new fuel in it. Yeah, that would be really nice for my car. So yeah, I'll drive down there. I don't know if they'll be able to get me into an orientation class that quickly because, like I said, I'll be sending my documents over Thursday. Hopefully, they'll be able to finalize everything Thursday and get me into an orientation class. Get me scheduled for one Thursday or Friday at the latest. And hopefully, they can get me into a Monday orientation class. That would be pretty sweet. And I could go down to orientation for 2 days and then get on the trailer wait list and hopefully have a trailer by the following Monday. And then I could be rolling for Landstar and as soon as 2 weeks from now. I was hoping that I would only be at home for 3 weeks, but at this point it's looking like I'm going to be home for 5 to 6 weeks. And that's not really that big of a deal. I have the finances to easily cover that. It's not a problem financially. I could stay at home for 2 or 3 months if I wanted to. I don't want to. And I would really like to get out there and make some damn money. And I'm really looking forward to looking at Landstar's load board because all these load board videos that I see people doing, well, not all of them. Ryan, I don't even know his full channel name. Ryan and whatever his wife's name is, do trucking and farming or something. Like their YouTube channel name is like a paragraph. But Ryan, I don't even know what state he's out of. Ohio or Indiana? I can't remember. But he does very few load board videos, but he actually goes in there and he checks, he removes the checkbox to get rid of team loads and expedite loads and all the crap that he can't haul. And he has it show only loads that he can haul, 53-foot dry van. Most of the load board videos I see people doing on Landstar, they don't do that. They just show you every 53-foot dry van load, or basically they just show you every van load. It's not even just 53-foot vans, it's all vans. And there's expedite stuff in there. There's a lot of team loads in there. And solo drivers like myself, I can't haul that expedite freight. I can't haul that team freight. I can't haul those critical load freight things that require teams, or the special short bus vehicles. I can't do all that stuff. So the majority of those really good paying loads that you see at Landstar, maybe those are not available to us. Maybe those you have to be in a team or something to get those loads. So I'm really curious to see the load board for myself and be able to sort it and look at it and see what I can realistically pull. And I would love to see, like what kind of freight is coming in and out of Oklahoma City, to see if there's some little, route that I could run in and out of Oklahoma City, a nice route. But it'll just be really nice to get out there. And right around the time that I'm getting on with Landstar is going to be, right at the beginning of, we're already in spring, I think. Or close to it. So we're in the spring, summer. So weather is starting to get good. So I'm going to be able to run all across the country with Landstar. I'm not going to be, I'm the type of person that I stay south in the winter. I stay out of the weather. So we're hitting good weather. So I'm going to be able to go anywhere. I'm going to be able to go anywhere with Landstar. We're going to be, who knows where I'm going to go. It's going to be, I'm really excited about getting Landstar's load board and being able to run anywhere and everywhere. At USA Truck, there's so many limitations with them. Yes, you can make good money at USA Truck, but you have to, in order to be successful at USA Truck, in my opinion, you need to be aware of certain locations that are kind of specific to USA Truck. I don't think it's like a freight thing in general. I think it's a USA Truck thing, because like you could go over and look at a market and the market in general sucks, but there's one particular shipper with USA Truck that has really good paying loads. Or there's one particular area with USA Truck that has good paying loads. You need to be aware of those areas on USA Truck's load board. You need to be aware of those shippers. You need to be familiar with, USA Truck's load board to be successful at USA Truck, in my opinion. Because there's some oddities with their load board. And it really restricts what you're able to do. And it's really hard to run consistently at USA Truck because of all of the limitations of the load board. Because the majority of USA Truck's load board is just dog shit. It's just trash loads. There are some really good paying loads on USA Truck's load board. But like I said, you need to be familiar with where the loads are at. There was a guy I ran into just, about a month ago when I was out on the road. When I was up in the Chicago area, or actually it was in Wisconsin. While I was at a shipper waiting on a load, I talked with another owner-operator at USA Truck. He told me that he grossed $12,000 the previous week. $12,000 gross the previous week. Because he found a little niche. He found a load that he could just run over and over and over again, that they just kept posting on the load board. They were posting 4 or 5 of the exact same load every day. And it was about a $10 a mile load. That's the full rate of the load. And we only get 65% of that plus 100% fuel surcharge. And it was a short run, so the fuel surcharge wasn't that great. But he was making like $6.50, $7 a mile. Somewhere around $6.50 a mile. And he was... I crunched the numbers on it, and I completely believe him. There are a lot of truck drivers are prone to exaggeration, and some of them just flat out are bullshitters. Like, they'll just lie their ass off. Yeah, this was one time I was hauling loads from the government, hauling UFOs on a flatbed. You listen to some of these crazy sons of bitches at the truck stops, like... I don't know if you've ever watched prison documentaries about solitary confinement and how it drives you crazy over time. I think that's what happens to these truck drivers, like these 20, 30-year veterans. They haven't talked to anybody in a decade. 2 to 3 decades of little or no social interaction has they've lost their damn minds. But yeah, so you have to take some of the truckers whenever they start telling you stuff. I mean, immediately I just kind of think that they're full of shit. That's just my default with truck drivers, is that they're almost all exaggerators or just flat out liars. But I crunched the numbers on what this guy said, and I actually hauled that exact same load that he was saying that he was just running over and over and over again. He made 12 grand last week on. The math worked out. Yeah. He could have easily made 12 grand last week on that load. He actually could have made more. But 12 grand was to make more. He could have made $15,000 to $18,000 on that load, or $15,000 to $18,000 in a single week running that load. But it would have been really, really hard to do that much money. 12 grand would not have been easy, but it wouldn't have been like really difficult. So yeah, I believe what he said. I have no reason to not believe what he said. So there is money to be made at USA Truck, but the consistency is what's lacking. Is that, yeah, you can run across some unicorn runs at USA Truck, but the consistency lacks. So I'm hoping at Landstar I'm going to have a lot more consistency, and I'm going to be able to run in more areas, and I'm going to hopefully have fewer deadhead miles, because USA Truck, they don't have, freight everywhere. If you take a load to Amarillo, Texas, for instance, there may not be a load within 300 miles or maybe even 400 or 500 miles of Amarillo on USA Truck's load board. You could, and that goes for just about any city you can think of, unless it's a major hub like Columbus, Ohio, or Cleveland, or someplace like that has tons of loads. Like, take Oklahoma City, for example. Oklahoma City is a pretty damn big city, and there's hardly ever any loads going out of Oklahoma City on Landstar's load board, or not Landstar, USA Truck's load board. There's almost never anything coming out. I live in Oklahoma City. Let me pause this while I open up the load board. All right. So we're looking for every load within 100 miles of Oklahoma City. This is going to pull up Tulsa. There's actually loads coming out of Oklahoma City. This is really rare. All right, so here's one going. It's a local run going from Oklahoma City to Oklahoma City tomorrow. What is this? So it's going from Pallet Logistics to ProPack Logistics. 30,000 pounds, just moving some pallets from one place to another. Pallet Logistics of America to ProPack Logistics. It's paying $365. I wouldn't move that load. It's not worth my damn time. Because I only get 65% of that $365, and it would probably take all day long to do. It'd be like $200 or something, $250. I'm exaggerating. It'd be $280 or something like that. Seminole, Oklahoma is not too terribly far from Oklahoma City. 57 miles. But I think this is a Gene company. We've been getting a lot of loads out of here. They've just been increasing more and more. It used to be really sporadic. We would occasionally get loads out of this place. VF Jeanswear. But they're always cheap ass loads, like some $2 a mile or less crap. This is a bunch of really cheap crap. So I wouldn't even haul loads out of this VF Jeanswear. It's just really cheap loads. They negotiated a really cheap contract with them. Enid, Oklahoma is not too terribly far This is some cheap $2 a mile crap, but that's a fairly normal rate to go to California. California SB. What is SB? Is that San Bernardino? Ontario is really close to San Bernardino. Why would it be the San Bernardino market, not the Los Angeles market? I don't know. Oklahoma City going to Wabash, Indiana. That's I mean, that's okay. Oh shit, it's a heavy ass aluminum load. MCC Oklahoma City, I don't know what that stands for. Going to SRT aluminum, 43,000 pounds of aluminum. So yeah, that the rate on that is meh. It's an okay load, but then you throw in there that it's a 43,000 pound load, and then I'm like, nah, it's no good. That's no bueno. But yeah, there's actually 2 loads coming out of Oklahoma City, and there's a whole bunch of loads within 100 miles of Oklahoma City. This actually, this kind of tells me that the freight market is booming right now. Let's take a look at Tulsa. Do 250 miles, and let's do loads over $4,000. Kansas City market is a really hot market on USA Trucks load board, and it's going to pull up the Kansas City market in this search. All right, what do we got? So Spring Hill, Kansas. Almost every one of these loads is coming out of Spring Hill, Kansas. This is the hot. Remember what I said a minute ago. You have to be aware of the hot freight areas and the hot freight like warehouses. This particular warehouse right here, A&M Products. I'm going to tell you right now. Almost every owner operator with USA Truck is gonna, you say something about A&M Products in Spring Hill, Kansas. Almost every owner operator at USA Truck is probably gonna know where in the hell that you're talking about. They probably hauled a load out of here because it's one of the hottest places to haul loads on USA Truck's load board. This is one of the places where you consistently get decent paying loads. So a whole bunch of shit going to Pennsylvania, Jersey, Baltimore, and we got Portland, Oregon. I mean, they're all decent rate per mile. Decent. Not amazing. I mean, they're all just solid, decent rate per mile. The only thing that really sucks about Spring Hill, Kansas, which is, it's basically Kansas City. It's just southwest of Kansas City. Like 10, 15 miles outside of Kansas City. It's A&M Products. It's a Clorox company, which is a Procter & Gamble company. And it's almost always heavy ass loads. 42.4, 41, 43. Unknown weight? What in the shit? Unknown weight? How do you not know what the weight is? Unknown. Unknown. All of these ones going to Scranton, Pennsylvania are unknown weight. They know what in the hell the weight is. All right, so what's this one? Mays, Kansas, going to Salt Lake City, Utah. This looks like some shit that Tony's going to haul. Oh, this is hazmat. Hazardous freight from EDI customer. Oh my God, they actually marked it as hazmat. This is the first time I have ever seen a hazmat load marked with a yes for hazmat. Usually, you just see that it's hazmat through the commodity or down here in the notes. And tankers the same way. I don't think I've ever seen a tanker load listed as tanker. I've never seen a yes right here for tanker. It's always like in the notes it'll say it requires a tanker endorsement because it's bulk and totes or something like that. It's liquid totes. So, hazmat. Is that the Maze, Kansas? Hazmat Worthington Cycle. Going to a Walmart distribution center. Huh. So it's an 8:30 a.m. appointment on the 25th. 1,000 miles going to Salt Lake City with some hazmat. And usually on these hazmat loads, the shippers and receivers are extremely strict on appointments. They don't want, like, there's all kinds of restrictions on hazmat. So, like, they don't really want to unload you early or anything like that. They want to do everything at the appointment time. And on the, like, Dollar General is one of the really common hazmat loads I see. They won't, like, they put in the notes that you can't be there more than 15 minutes early. So you have a 15-minute window with a hazmat load to Dollar General. That's crazy. It is so hard to arrive in a 15-minute window. That's just crazy. And the grocery houses down in Southern California are 30-minute windows for just about everything. They won't let you on their property within outside 30 minutes of your appointment. And then if you're a minute late, they start fining you. It's crazy. Like, that's the reason I think I'm going to avoid Southern California on Landstar's load board. Let's check Southern California. You know, that reminds me, I need to call Percy. I haven't talked with Percy in a couple of days. He told me that when the winter stops, he's going to get out and drive again. Holy crap. Holy crap. Freight is hopping again. These aren't great loads. I mean, there's some decent loads on here. I mean, there's a lot of, like, decent paying loads. You know what? That shitty broker, after I haggled with him and got him to basically double the price on the load, maybe he realized that he was pricing these loads insanely cheap. And he's increased the price on all the loads, but they're still below market. I think he's still going to have difficulty moving most of these loads because most of these are still below market. I would love to haul this one right here from Beaumont to Memphis, Tennessee. Oh my goodness. This would be an absolutely awesome load. But it's not paying very good. $5,600 to go 1,700 miles. That's basically what I got paid to go to Topeka, Kansas. Almost the same mileage and everything. So it looks like he is listing loads based off of what I hauled for him. He doesn't fucking understand markets and lanes and stuff like that. The broker that's pricing this shit just doesn't know what in the hell they're doing. There is another broker that's pretty good. But he hasn't really been posting loads in the California market very much lately. He was the one that was posting like the $8,000, the $12,000 loads, you know, that stuff. And this guy was basically listing everything at half price. These loads are no longer half price, but they're still below market. Yeah. I'm going to be glad to get away from USA Truck because they have some really shitty brokers and salespeople there that post shit on the load board that's just, it pisses me off, you know, because I don't have the ability to negotiate rates. I don't have a bid button over here. It's take it or leave it. And for them to, like, lowball you on these prices, and I've tried messaging them on these loads, and they're like, no, you know, they're not going to negotiate. You know, I've only ever been able to negotiate a load one time. One time, my entire time at USA Truck. I've tried to negotiate rates on loads many times at USA Truck. I was only able to do it successfully one time, and I negotiated a load from $3,100, I think is what it was. It might have been $3,200. Yeah, it was $3,200, and I negotiated it up to $5,500. And it was with this half price asshole over here. That it's probably the same broker that listed every single one of these loads right here. At least he's not listing them at half price anymore, but these are still below market. These are still cheap. This is still a bunch of cheap crap. What is this load right here? Bell, Missouri. Let's look at Bell, Missouri. Let's do 50 miles. We'll keep it at $4,000. Because that looks like a really good load. No loads match. Let's refresh this and see if the load's still there. They've got me in Z status, which is limbo status at USA Truck. It's so that it's metrics. It's all about your driver manager's metrics. Yeah, that load's not on the load board. That is a really good load. Bell, Missouri to Palestine, Texas. That is probably somewhere in the area of 500 miles, if I had to guess. Let's see. Bell, Missouri to Palestine, Texas. 639 miles. So it's going to be down I-44 and then 69. Oh, that's not even taking 69. That's 75. Why is it not having you cut down 69 right here? That doesn't make any damn sense. So about 640 miles. That was 140 miles off. But 640 miles for $4,268 plus fuel surcharge. You only get 65% of that $4,300, but that is still really good. That's like almost $7 a mile, and after all the percentage cuts and everything, you're going to be making $4 or $5 a mile. That is a really good load. But anyway, I think I need to call Percy, bug him for a little while, and then I need to get all my tax documents together. And I already explained everything I'm going to be doing. So today's Monday. I don't have any plans Tuesday, tomorrow. I'll probably just try to get all my paperwork in order. Wednesday, I will go pick up the parts, put my truck in the shop, do the drug test. Thursday, I'll do taxes, take my truck out of the shop and get my DOT inspection from them and send all that paperwork over to Landstar, and then hopefully be in an orientation class on Monday. I've heard that, you might have to sit around for a couple of weeks for orientation, so who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with that. But anyway, that's an update as to what's going on with me, and lots of rambling, and now I just want to sit around here and browse around on USA Truck's load board. Let's check one more market. One of the hottest markets on USA Truck's load board right now. Let me think of a centralized location. Let's do Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. That should get Green Bay. It'll get all the way over to La Crosse, Wisconsin. It'll get Chicago, Milwaukee. Let's take it to $3,000. I don't know why it defaults to an invalid value. Let's see if that really amazing beer load that guy was making 12 grand a week on is still on here. It's like 271 miles, paying $3,300 plus $80 fuel surcharge. Still some good loads over here. Man, this is some cheap shit right here. Going down to Sarasota, Florida for $320 a mile. You cheap bastards. That is cheap. Germantown, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, going to Atlanta, Georgia. What is that? That is $450 a mile, somewhere in that area. So you would be making like probably $320 to $350 a mile on that load, somewhere around $320 a mile. That's a pretty good load. You're going into a decent market, the Atlanta market. The Atlanta market is, in my opinion, not as good as it used to be because I don't think people have gotten smarter. I think that there's just been more information out there, and I think a lot of people don't like to deadhead because they don't understand math, and they just pick up whatever they can pick up within 50 to 100 miles of where they're at, and they don't really like to drive further than that for a load. So anybody who's decent at math knows that it is much more profitable to drive out of a bad market, to deadhead out of a bad market, and pick up a good paying load rather than to haul some cheap shit 1,000 miles. So the Atlanta market, in my opinion, has kind of gone to dog shit over the last year or so because of people deadheading out of Florida. They'll deadhead all the way up to Atlanta for a load. You know, they'll deliver in Miami, they'll drive deadhead all the way up to Atlanta to pick up a load. And Atlanta used to be solid rates, but over the last year or so, basically all I ever see coming out of Atlanta is $2 a mile crap. So I would have to double check and see if Atlanta is... We'll look at Atlanta here in a minute and see what it is. But that is a solid load. This Burlington to... Oh, I would much rather go to Montgomery, Alabama. Even though Montgomery is not... Like, there's not a big difference between Atlanta and Montgomery. Montgomery is like, what? Like 100 miles west of Atlanta, if that. But it's paying nearly the same rate. The Atlanta load's actually paying, a decent a bit more. But I would probably prefer the Montgomery load. Jersey. Oh, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Sheboygan Falls. Is this Rock Ridge? This is a good rate. I bet this is Rock Ridge. This is Sheboygan Falls is no, is it Rock Ridge or Rockline Industries? I think it was Rockline. Yeah, Rockline Industries. 13,400 pounds. Nice, light, good paying load. This is the place where I picked up that load going to Irvine, California. Is paying 6,200. Or was it 6,500? It was somewhere in the area of $6,200 to $6,500 plus fuel surcharge. You know what? I'm curious as to what they paid me on fuel surcharge on that. I'm going to pause this and look it up real quick. Wow. They actually paid me some pretty damn good fuel surcharge. It was a breakthrough fuel load, and they ended up paying me 43 cents per mile. The load paid $6,325 plus $900 in fuel surcharge. I made $4,111 on the line haul, and then 900 in fuel surcharge. So I made a little over $5,000 on that load, gross to the truck. That's what I made to haul a load 2,000 miles from Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin, over to Irvine, California. That was pretty damn solid. 43 cents a mile. I think that's the highest fuel surcharge I've ever gotten on a breakthrough fuel load. Usually I get like 10 cents a mile. So, but the breakthrough fuel, it's very different by companies. Most of the breakthrough fuel loads that I've been hauling have been Procter and Gamble companies, and they are really, 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 really cheap on fuel surcharge. Rockline Industries, that's a solid fuel surcharge. That's decent. I don't really know if that's high enough to offset the insane fuel prices that we have right now. But it helps. Like, it's a lot better than, 10 cents per mile that some of these worthless companies are paying. But okay, let's check Atlanta real quick and then we'll end the video. So, real quick, my thoughts on the, this market. It looks to still be doing decent. Now, it is 8:46 p.m. This is not middle of the day. All the good loads have already been picked through. So you have to take into consideration time of day. And the fact that there are this many solid loads still sitting on here, man, this is a really good sign. Let's check Atlanta and see if it's just full of $2 a mile crap. I'm probably going to have to drop it from $3,000. Oh, there's only 2 loads. Going to Massachusetts and Philadelphia. Decent. They're okay. Let's drop it down to $2,000. There are so many good freight hubs. Augusta, Georgia, Montgomery, Alabama. Like, there's so many good freight hubs around Atlanta, within, 300 miles of Atlanta, that it should just be an amazing market. Beach Island, South Carolina. This is, I've hauled loads out of this place. This is a Kimberly Clark. And, taking into consideration, it's, pretty late in the evening. All these loads have already been picked through. Summer Shade, Kentucky. Nashville, Tennessee market. Summer Shade is another Procter & Gamble warehouse. Clorox. Kingsford Clorox. Heavy ass loads. There's one time I hauled a load of charcoal, Kingsford charcoal, out of... God, I can't remember the name of the town. It was in West Virginia. Was it Virginia or West Virginia? I can't remember. Parsons, West Virginia. There's a Kingsford Clorox place there. And I hauled a load from there down to Birmingham, McCalla, Alabama. 7,000 pounds of charcoal. It's the lightest load I've ever hauled for Clorox or Procter & Gamble. And there was only like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7 pallets of charcoal up in the front of the trailer. Just hardly anything in the trailer. That was awesome load. That paid really well. I want to say it was like 700 miles and it paid $2,600. Maybe 28, close to $3,000 for 700 miles. It was a pretty solid load for that area, that market up there in, Parsons, West Virginia. That's up really close to Pennsylvania. And that's a really shitty place to be pulling freight out of. So that was a pretty damn good paying load for that area. But yeah, this what I'm seeing right here in the Atlanta market is a lot of mediocrity. I mean, there's some decent stuff here, but nothing that really jumps out at me. It's like, man, that's a pretty good load. Need to check see if that's available. You know, nothing like that. What's the best load that I can see on here? Um, Most of these loads are going into the deep Northeast: New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, places like that. Or they're going down into Florida. And all the loads going into the deep Northeast or into Florida, which are really shitty markets, they're not paying enough of a premium to go into those places. And the ones going to normal markets like Dallas, it's $2 a mile bullshit. Fort Worth, $2 a mile bullshit. Here's one going to Pearl River, New Orleans, Louisiana, basically. It's $4 a mile. Heavy crap. Going to a grocery. So that's a decent load. This one right here, Franklin, Tennessee to Dallas, Texas. That's almost $4 a mile. It's only 1,200 pounds. Lasco Produce going to Home Depot, or Lasco Products going to Home Depot in Dallas. Home Depot is a really good place to deliver. It's a drop loaded trailer. You have a huge delivery window. Live load picks up on the 25th, and you can deliver it the next day. That's the number one load on here so far. Turn and burn. Really light load, good on fuel mileage. One of the best paying loads per mile on here. And it's putting you into a solid market. Dallas is a fairly solid market on USA Trucks Load Board. Now, at some point, this Detroit, Michigan load might have been a good load, but I don't know how good it is to haul freight in and out of Detroit these days. I've heard that they've got signs about, you know, entering Detroit at your own risk because they don't have enough police they don't respond to police calls basically. Um, I think the manufacturing in Detroit's kind of gone to shit. Let's check Detroit, Michigan. Let's take this down to 50 miles. Let's see if there's anything coming out of Detroit, Michigan on USA Trucks Load Board. This probably used to be a really hot freight hub. Not a single load. Let's drop it down to $1,000. That loads over $1,000. I remember hauling when I was in trucking 15, 20 years ago. I remember whenever I was driving for, I can't remember if it was when I was driving for Swift or I think it was actually the second time I went over the road when I was working for a small company, a no-name company. It's just one load. Just this Romulus, Michigan to Memphis, Tennessee. That's it. Just this one load listed over and over and over again. And it pays absolute dog shit. This is some dollar a mile joke. Auto parts. It's going to Ford Memphis Complex. This is probably Ford something. Oh, it's Romulus, Michigan. Ford Motor Company. Romulus. FCSD Parts Redistribution Center. What does FCSD stand for? I don't know. I give up. I'm not that interested. I'm going to keep deep diving into it. But yeah, Detroit's a ghost town on USA Trucks load board. This is the only thing coming out of Detroit is this one cheap ass load that no owner operator should haul. This is some dollar a mile bullshit. You're basically going to be paying these people to move this load for them. It's not worth moving this thing. And they're all 2 to 4 day loads. 2, 3, and 4 day loads. 700 miles, and they want you to set on it for 2 to 4 days. Oh my goodness, that is just absolute crap. This is the stuff that I'm looking forward to getting away from. Now, there's going to be a short amount of time that I'm going to have access to USA Trucks load board and Landstar's load board. I'm really looking forward to doing some direct comparisons, like try to find the exact same load on both boards and see what kind of price difference there is. See how much USA Truck is shaving off the top on these loads. Because I have a feeling that USA Truck is taking a broker cut before they list the loads. I'm quite certain that that's what's happening on USA Truck's load board, is they're taking a broker cut before they list the loads. And that's really shady if they're doing that. And that's one of the reasons I want to get on with Landstar, is because it's a flat rate broker cut, 7.5% that comes out of the 35%. So yeah, it's just, I mean, that, all right, this video is already really long. If I start getting into, that kind of conversation, I'll be sitting here just droning on for an hour about, and that reminds me, sitting here talking about Landstar and the broker cut and stuff like that. Whenever I was talking with Big Rig Product, what's his name? Greg, I think, is the guy that owns the place. And he owns several businesses. He owns a trucking company. And I told him that I was in the process of transitioning, I was changing my lease from USA Truck to Landstar. And he was like, why do you go to Landstar? Why not just lease with me? I do an 80% cut. And I'm like, well, yeah, but, with the 65% cut at Landstar, that's, I was explaining to him the 7.5% brokerage cut and how that usually equates to more money than like even a 90% cut somewhere else where, you know, they're taking a broker cut off the top and then you're getting 80-90% of what's left over. You know, if they're taking a 50 or 60% broker cut, like, you know, the load starts out at paying $1,000 and then they shave off 30% for a broker cut, so you're down to $700, and then you get 80% of that. 80% of $700, is that better, or is 65% of the full $1,000 better? You know, and most brokers are taking a minimum, an absolute minimum of 10%. Go watch some videos of some brokers on YouTube. 15, 20, 25%, 30% on a load from a broker. That's not unheard of. And I'm a huge advocate that brokers should not exist. Call operators, stockbrokers, technology has replaced those things. Why in the hell do we still have brokers, middlemen in trucking, stealing money, you know, just shaving money off the top? They're completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. They do not need to exist. Brokers do not need to exist. Let's not get ranting and raving about that. Anyway, I should end the video. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Best of luck to you and everything. Talk to you later. Bye.